In 1937, a psychiatrist in Rhode Island accidentally discovered the most effective treatment for ADHD we still use today. Charles Bradley was running a children's hospital and gave a group of distractible kids an amphetamine called Benzedrine. Within days, their lives changed. They could focus, they could learn, they felt better. Bradley called the change spectacular, and then the medical world ignored him for 25 years. An entire generation of children grew up being called lazy, defiant, or stupid, while the answer to what was wrong with their brains sat in a published paper nobody wanted to read. What was happening inside those kids' brains is still one of the most misunderstood stories in psychiatry. Almost 90 years later, I still see Bradley's children walking into my office, just grown up. One of them was Maya. I've changed her name and a few details to protect her privacy. She came to me at 34, recently diagnosed, convinced her entire life had been a failure. She had been called brilliant in school, unreliable at work, lazy by her partner. She could write a 30-page report in one night when something gripped her, but couldn't open her mail for 3 weeks. She paid late fees and bills she had the money to cover. She lost friendships because replying to a simple text felt physically heavy. In the ADHD community, people call this the ADHD tax. The late fees, the missed opportunities, the duplicate purchases because you couldn't find the first one. It's the silent cost of living inside a brain that struggles to launch. Maya's experience isn't unusual. It's the inner reality of ADHD that almost never makes it into the textbooks. There's a thing people call the wall of awful. You know you need to do something, you want to do it, the task is small, and yet getting started feels like trying to push a car uphill in neutral. Your body just won't cooperate. Then there's time blindness. The clock says 1 hour has passed. Your brain insists it was 10 minutes. You promised you'd leave at 7. It's 7:43. You weren't lying. You weren't disrespectful. Your internal clock is broken in a very specific way. If any of this sounds familiar, here's what I want you to know. Your brain isn't broken. There's a name for what's happening, and there's a science behind it. To understand the ADHD brain, think of your brain's motivation system like a fuel tank. For most people, that tank fills up at a steady rate. The boring email, the dishes, the report due Friday. Their brain gives them just enough fuel to do each task. Not exciting fuel, just enough. The ADHD brain runs on a different kind of fuel system. It runs almost entirely on 4 ingredients: novelty, urgency, challenge, personal interest. If a task doesn't have at least one of those 4 ingredients, the tank stays empty. Doesn't matter how important the task is. Doesn't matter how badly you want to do it. The fuel just doesn't show up. This maps onto real neuroscience. The ADHD brain has differences in how it produces and uses dopamine, the chemical that drives motivation and reward. There are patterns in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles planning, impulse control, and decision making. And the default mode network, the background hum of your brain, often stays active when it should quiet down. Long before any of this was visible on a brain scan, doctors could already see the pattern. In 1902, a British pediatrician named Sir George stood still in front of the Royal College of Physicians and described 43 children who were clearly intelligent but couldn't control their attention or behavior. He called it a defect of moral conduct, harsh by today's standards. But his real point was that this had to be biological, not bad parenting, not weak character, biology. He was right by more than 100 years. In 1944, a chemist named Leandro Panizan synthesized a compound he named Ritalin after his wife, Rita, who used it as a pick-me-up before tennis matches. By 1955, it was FDA approved. Today, stimulant medications remain first-line treatment for ADHD, with effect sizes among the largest of any psychiatric medication for any condition. Bradley had been right all along. From the outside, ADHD doesn't look like a brain difference. It looks like laziness. It looks like drama. It looks like someone making excuses. The person with ADHD knows they're capable. They just watch themselves write a brilliant essay in one sitting. So when they can't fold their laundry for 3 weeks, everyone around them assumes they could if they wanted to. And honestly, so do they. That's where the shame starts. This is the part of ADHD that almost never gets named. ADHD reaches into who you think you are. Many adults with ADHD grow up hearing the same script. You're not living up to your potential. You're too sensitive. You need to try harder. So they tried harder. They built elaborate planners. They downloaded apps. They set alarms. And when those tools failed, because tools designed for neurotypical brains often do, they blame themselves. By the time many adults finally get diagnosed, they're not just dealing with ADHD. They're dealing with 20 or 30 years of accumulated self-blame, women especially. The traditional picture of ADHD was the hyperactive boy bouncing off the classroom walls. The girl quietly daydreaming, missing assignments, masking her struggles, often slipped past everyone, including her doctor. Late diagnosis hits hard. It's not just relief, it's grief. People look back and rewrite their whole story. The job they lost, the relationship that fell apart, the degree they couldn't finish. None of it was a personal failure. It was a brain that needed support nobody recognized. The ADHD brain is rarely just an attention problem. It usually sits inside a chronically dysregulated nervous system. Years of forcing yourself to function in a world built for a different kind of brain creates a kind of low-grade emergency state. Your body is constantly bracing for the next missed deadline, the next forgotten birthday, the next moment of being called out. Over time, that turns into something that looks and feels a lot like anxiety. This is why so many adults with ADHD get diagnosed with anxiety first. The anxiety is real, but it's often secondary. The anxiety is the smoke. The ADHD is the fire. Treat only the anxiety, and the ADHD keeps generating new fires. Treat only the ADHD, and the body stays stuck in alert mode, undoing a lot of the gains. Most people with ADHD feel stuck because they've been offered one of two paths. The first path is medication alone. Take the prescription, come back in 3 months, hope for the best. The second path is the wellness route. Skip the medication, fix it with diet and meditation, heal your dopamine naturally. Both paths miss something important. The first ignores the body underneath the brain. The second ignores how much medication can actually help. There's a third path, and it's the one most people with ADHD have never been offered. The third path uses medication when it's the right tool and at the same time addresses the layers underneath: sleep, blood sugar, movement, stress load, inflammation. The way your body's stress response has been running on overdrive for years. When you bring those layers together, something shifts. People stop white-knuckling through their day. The motivation system stabilizes. The shame loop quiets down. That's the version of treatment that actually works for most people with ADHD, and almost nobody offers it. If you've spent your life believing you are lazy, broken, or defective, I hope this changes something. You're not broken. You're running a specific kind of fuel system inside a body that's been working overtime for years. Once you see it that way, you can finally start working with your brain instead of fighting it. Real progress with ADHD usually isn't one solution. It's a layered strategy. The right diagnosis, honest conversations about medication, and quiet, steady work to calm the body underneath it all. If this video helped something click, there's probably someone in your life who needs to hear it too. Send it to them. And if you want to keep hearing science-based mental health information from a board-certified psychiatrist, subscribe to the channel.